Hello, everybody. This is Brother Ming, and I am here to film and showcase the final unboxing of Anna's Roundtable with this fresh, first off the line production copy. Um, so all the games are currently being assembled right now, and once assembly is finished, they will be packed onto a giant ship, and or not, they'll be packed into a single container and then loaded on a ship and go from China to US, come to my warehouse, and then I'll start shipping them out. That entire process is very labor intensive and currently very slow due to the global delay and shortage of shipping containers and just all around shipping delays. Prices are through the roof, so please bear with me as we struggle through that together. But the actual game itself is done. It's all been printed, and they're currently just doing an assembly, putting all the boxes together, which is a very manual process in case you didn't know about board game assembly. That said, let's just jump right into it. I will write about fulfillment woes in the newsletter instead, because this video is all about unboxing. So what you see in front of you is what you will receive, albeit what you're gonna actually receive will be in a lot better condition than this, because this I have been tossing around for the last essentially a month and a half. I've been playing with the cards extensively, using them for card tricks, just testing them. So there's a lot of wear and tear on this copy already. So that's a little bit of warning. But box slides quite easily off. The box itself is a matte finish, non-gloss, which is and without texture, which is kind of what I wanted, because I think texture surfaces tend to make anime art look a little bit weird, and the non-gloss really helps give it the kind of a rustic aesthetic that we were going for. All right, so let's look at the box itself. And when you slide it off, the first thing you'll see is this I think, very cool storage solution. Of course, there's also different designs on the side. You have all of the artists on this side, all of the different Annas throughout history, all of our play testers, and the 4 Annas that we designed for this game. So here we are. First things first, of course, is this topper, which I think is great. It slides very easily out to reveal everything else in the game below. And let's see that again. When you put it in, it slides so easily in, which I think is a great part about this box. This was something we had to do a couple of times to get right, but it's oh so worth it. You won't damage it, and it is just buttery smooth. Oh, there we go. See, it just slides right in. All right, so what's in this topper? First, you have this rulebook, a gorgeous 40+ page rulebook designed by Shin. She is a great friend, and she's a big Kraben lover. The rulebook itself is pretty long, but that's due to the fact that most of it is our artist gallery. So of course we have a foreword, introduction, table of contents. The rulebook itself is actually not too long. The entire 1v1 rules fits within the first 18 pages. And then what you have is the boss mode rules. So the boss mode is another 8 pages of rules for the 1v1, up to 4-player cooperative mode. And then lastly, we have a pretty large gallery of all the different artists, which is, they're the real stars of the show. We have over 100 artists who worked on this project, and they're all genuinely amazing. Make sure to follow them on social media. And yeah, at the end of this artist gallery, we also have a signature collection, because a lot of our artists actually go to conventions and sell merch. Hayun is a really big one, for example. So yeah, make sure to say hi, get their signature. Also, if you find any Fire Emblem voice actors who are typically pretty active in the convention scene, you can get them to sign this as well. And lastly, of course, we have thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. I know I don't advertise my Patreon very often, because I don't post to it at all. So most of the people who are on my Patreon are basically from like 2017. So thank you guys for following me all this time. If you want to be included in the Genshin Taro rulebook as a Patreon supporter, you can just do that. It's $10. Once $10, you'll get into the rulebook for life. Okay, moving on. Next thing in this topper is all the different game boards. So top of this, we have 2 game maps. We have the standard classic 1v1 game map, on the back is the up to 4-player co-op boss mode map. I love this map. It's very nice. We play tested the crap out of this map, and it is very, very tight. Gameplay is great on it. But alternatively, there is this more fun map. This is a kind of fun 1v1 map mode. Not as heavily play tested, but it's kind of refreshing. You can play it this way or this way, inspired by Noah versus Hoshido. And of course, you have on this back as well a 4-player mode map that's symmetric all 4 directions with a couple of special tiles. These are more for fun once you get used to the main game. They won't be used for tournaments or anything. Below that, we have these 4 player boards, the back of which are these boss mode boards, just 2 tiles, and the front of which are the standard 1v1 mode boards with your 3 units, 4 deploy tiles, and of course featuring the 4 Annas designed by Soren for Anna's Roundtable. Below that, we have a little thank you letter that I wrote. It's a little cheesy, so you can read it when you get it. Along with a couple advertisements, here is React, my first original board game project. We're pretty close to art complete, and hopefully it will go Kickstarter sometime next year. The character design is by Wicked Alucard, who is an incredible artist. He did all the art for Exceed Season 2, which is the 7th Croth season. And in addition to him, Pat, another great friend of mine, is doing all the additional art beyond character designs. It's actually not designed by me, it's designed by Eric and Chris Lynn. Blanked on his last name for a second. Eric, who is a lifelong friend of mine, I was his best man, he was mine. Got married, by the way. Chris is a designer I met 3 years ago at Proto ATL. Very talented. So the game isn't designed by me. Those two basically put everything together and their heart and soul into it. But I had a heavy hand in the direction of it, and so it is very much so a game that I wanted to exist. The high level idea of it is a 1v1 dueling game, anime dueling game, on a grid with gorgeous anime standees, and the concept of it is a 1v1 dueling where all the characters in this kind of dueling setting, it's not so much a fighting game, it is definitely a dueling game. But it's character-based dueling. All the characters are artists, and they have superpowers inspired by their art. So the main character here is a calligrapher. She has a sword that, when scabbard, at the tip is a giant ink brush. It is awesome. So we've been working on this for almost 3 years now, and we're coming ahead to it, and we're super excited for it. So please look forward to the Kickstarter for that. So in addition to that, there's a couple more advertisements for my upcoming fan projects. Genshin Tarot, which is the next big one. Genshin Impact, of course, has taken over my life and the life of many of my friends, and hopefully you as well. The Genshin Tarot is a tarot deck inspired board game. So of course it's a board game, but it has a tarot deck at its core. It's very gorgeous, like insanely gorgeous. And of course, I am still a Fire Emblem diehard. Grew up on Fire Emblem. Had my first Fire Emblem game bought alongside my first video game console, which was a Game Boy Advance, the OG Fire Emblem, which my mom bought for me when we evacuated from Hurricane Katrina. So Fire Emblem is deeply in my veins. So yeah, the next Fire Emblem project is, of course, we're going to do Anna's Roundtable expansion, but the big one is we are working on a Fire Emblem 5e D&D campaign guide. So it's going to be a setting and class guide. It's not going to be a campaign, it's just a setting and class guide. All right, so all those out of the way, let's put those back in. We got the player boards, we got the maps. This is a very slow video because I'm not going to edit it and just kind of taking you along with the rope with me for that. Oh, that's so smooth. Let's do that one more time. Oh no, there we go. Look at how smooth. No pressure. Just boom, comes out. All right, we'll put that to the side, and we have the game box proper. So this is a big heavy box of goodies. This entire game weighs just under 6 pounds, I think, and it has a lot of cards and a lot of wooden various components. So let's go from the top. First things first is we have these pamphlets. These are the player basically guides, player aids. You slide this off, and we have these 4 pamphlet-style player aids. As far as I know, we're the only board game to have pamphlets for player aids, and we think it's very thematic and cool. So these were designed by Rice. She is an incredible graphic designer. She's actually leading the graphic design for Genshin Tarot. So both with this, you'll have everything you need to know to play the game without the rulebook. On one side, it goes over all the things you can do on your turn, all the things a unit can do when you activate a unit, and the map tiles and movement types. On the back, it has the reference to all the different unit tags, so you don't have to keep opening the rulebook to look those up. And you get 1 per player for up to 4 player game modes. All right, let's put those away. And moving on, let's go through everything in this box. First, we'll start with the cards here, because there are just over 200 unit cards, and that's a lot. 200 unit cards is an insane amount. For context, that is 5 Yu-Gi-Oh decks of 40 cards each. So of course, even unsleeved, this thing is a monster. It is essentially impossible to shuffle in its entirety, but you will randomize it for each game, and of course our expansion will just increase on this, and it will fit in this space very comfortably, because this can go somewhere else. We have a lot of space for more cards in the future. If you want to sleeve it, sleeves fit a little bit tight unless you get the really tight inner sleeves. For example, the 60, I believe they're 64 by 89 millimeter sleeves designed to be used when double sleeving. Those will fit this very well. If you don't, they'll fit kind of like this, like at a slight tilt, like that, like this. Or easier is you can just store your cards like this. Boom, now there's no issue with sleeves. Just like how these cards, sleeves will fit this way in this box as well. So this is the giant deck of unit cards. A big cool factor, I think, for a lot of people that you might not even know, and it was a source of a huge headache for me, is that these are plastic. So let's apologize to one of these characters real quick. I can't even think of a character to apologize to. I am sorry, Mercedes, but for the sake of this unboxing video, the world needs to know what a plastic card is. And a plastic card is, well, quite true name. It is made out of plastic. They're incredibly snappy, very high quality. They're the most expensive type of card you can order. Over twice as expensive as the highest quality of cardboard you can order. And they are virtually indestructible. So they are waterproof. For one, the color is a little bit darker than regular cardboard, and I wish I had a counter for that, but it is what it is. Yeah, they're just very snappy, and when you handle them, they feel buttery smooth. Like, oh, that is, let's see, let me show you. I've been practicing this for a while. Yeah, it's so buttery smooth. They are both soft and snappy at the same time, and they don't lose their shape very easily. So they will retain their shape basically up to the point of you folding them. So for example, let's with this Mercedes, if you bring it all the way to the point where they touch, oh god, she flew. Even if you blew that, look, comes back perfectly flat, like all the way to the point where they're touching. You can hold it like that for a second, like that, comes back to normal. So until you fold it, it's basically not going to be destroyed. And even if you want to rip it, it's very hard to rip. And ripping it is the only way to essentially damage it, because you need scissors. Or even if you, okay, so this is the part, it's going to hurt some people. If you try to rip it, look at that. You can't rip it. You literally cannot rip it. And it will misshapen it, unfortunately, because it is plastic. But yeah, just go show these are incredibly expensive, incredibly high quality plastic cards. Sorry, Mercedes, you're not going back in the box. But yeah, that is over 200 unit cards. Over here, we have all of the shop cards. And over here, we have all of the boss cards. And all the cards are in plastic. The boss cards are for the up to 4-player co-op mode, of course. So moving on beyond that, we have here the boss boards, which are used for the up to 4-player co-op mode. Like I said, 2 of these are reversible for those 2 bosses, and these 2 are not. So we got four bosses in the box. And these are also used for the co-op boss mode because when you fight the boss, you will encounter a lot of minions or boss summons, and those will be represented by these boss unit discs, which fit onto the game board like so. These are a little bit thinner, a little bit smaller than your unit tokens or unit meeples, which will be the next thing we talk about over here. These are incredibly chunky and satisfying meeples that each player will pick a different shape, and each color represents the color of the unit. They're quite large and chunky, so you have no problem picking them up and moving them around on the board, and you'll be able to easily identify whose unit it is and what color the unit is with those meeples. All right. In addition to that, inside the box, here is some exclusive content. We have the metal coins that was released for EmblemCon. You can no longer buy these, so if you got them, you got them. I'm not going to remake them, sorry. But they are quite nice and they will fit inside your box. There's a lot of space in this box, which is why I said earlier, once we have expansion cards, you got nothing to worry about. But if you didn't get these metal Anacoins, then this is what the game actually comes with. Cardboard metal Anacoins, they're all thick. These are very nice Anacoins. Over here we have the damage tokens, which we'll use to mark damage on your units when they take damage. Not gonna bother taking those out. We have some acrylic tokens. We'll take these out. We have Dragon Vein tokens. Standard acrylic tokens. Looks very nice. These, you gain Dragon Veins when your units die and when your opponent captures. We have Shapeshift token gems. These are awesome because they look like little shapeshift teardrops. And yeah, you use these to mark when a unit has a shapeshifter token. Next, we have the special ability gems. Similarly to shapeshift gems, you will use these to mark a unit when they have a special ability they haven't used yet. All right, below that, in this little divot here, we have the Dragon Vein map tiles. You can spend Dragon Veins to place down map tiles on the map to either block people or open up paths. And having a little nice space for it is really, really nice in my opinion. Makes it much easier to organize. Over here we have some nice chonky wooden dice. These are quite chonky. 20mm wood and painted. They're matte, they're very nice, they feel great, and they roll nicely. The game doesn't use dice very often. A few units has it, for example, with Pickpocket and Crit Chance. But mostly, you'll probably use these just to decide who goes first. All right, nextly over here, we have the 4 boss tiles. So these are, when you play the boss mode, the boss always starts spawned in the center. And some bosses move, other bosses do not. Look into the boss mode to learn more. Below the boss, we have the victory points. Here, this little stash right here is one of my favorite parts of this box. Everything you need to set up a game for victory points is right here, because both the victory point cards, which is the primary way of winning the game. Whenever you capture a castle, you get one of these cards, and once all the cards run out, the game ends. All the victory cards, which are also plastic by the way, is right above the victory point tokens. So you ready to set up a game? Take out the victory points, victory cards, put them in a stack, victory points, another stack, good to go. Victory points are, of course, these tokens. Whenever you defeat a unit, you gain one of these. And then in the game, player with the most victory points wins. And the game ends when either the point tokens or the point cards are all taken. So here are those. Let's put those back. And then a nice little space right here. All right. So that is everything that comes in the box of Anna's Roundtable. I'm not gonna put everything back right now because I kind of threw everything aside. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video. I hope you were excited. Everything is, in my opinion, very high quality. Like I said, I am a little bit frustrated about the graphic design on the cards. In retrospect, I should have made the cards a little bit brighter. I should have, learned to just, account for the darkening with plastic. And also I should have made sure that the bottoms of the cards were not transparent. That was, those are all on me. But you know, it is what it is. And despite all that, the cars still look really nice. Ignore the corners. That is from me practicing card tricks nonstop. They still look quite nice, and I am still very happy with them. And I think most people will be very happy with these. We were deciding whether or not I wanted to spend, you know, $10,000 out of pocket to reprint these. But in the end, the manufacturer decided to like really recommended against it. And I showed this to a couple of friends who had no context on what the cars look like digitally. And yeah, they couldn't tell. So I don't think most people will be able to tell either. Nonetheless, I'm very happy with them. Plastic cars feel really great. And I think for many, many people, this will be the first game they own that is in plastic cards. Probably for good reason. Plastic cards are a pain in the ass to manufacture, and I don't think I'll ever do it again, except for Anna's Roundtable and its expansions, because I want all the cards to be plastic. Promo cards, of course, are non-plastic, but you don't mix that with the deck. Promo cards you'll shuffle and put to the side. Yeah, and that's everything. If you have any questions, feel free to respond to this email that this video is coming into a newsletter. Leave a comment on the YouTube video. Hit me up on Discord, etc., etc. Yeah, details about fulfillment and woes and fulfillment hell will be in that newsletter. Thank you so much for watching. If you stuck around to the end of this 20-minute video, Jesus. But yeah, get hyped, and thank you for sticking around. Bye-bye.